Says she ain't got the link. Greetings. We are here in the lab. We're here in the lab. Ron, tell that in the house. That's right. Jamal, Toure. We're going to have some other people joining us. One person in particular will be joining us is our great councilwoman, Kesha Gibson Carter. And so we are recapping what took place for the past 8 days here in the city of Savannah. For other people, it's 7 days. In the city of Savannah, it is 8 days, and it's something called Kwannza Krawl. Kwannza Krawl, the brainchild of our great Alderwoman, one of our heroes, Kesha Gibson Carter. And so we are here. We're going to recap some of it. I'm just going to be chill until she comes on because we sent her the link. And so, because there's some things I want to get into, but the Kwannza Krawl has been a great event. This is the 3rd year of the Kwannza Krawl, which, as I tell you, this is the 3rd year, but this is the 40th year of a public Kwannza celebration in the city of Savannah. Kwannza celebration in the city of Savannah been done for 40 years publicly. Mrs. Dorothy Cohen has been the one leading most of it. And so then before that was our mayor, Otis Johnson. Dr. Otis Johnson was the one who had the first public one. Then Sister Dorothy Cohen, she then took it on, and that's what's going on. And so at Tompkins Center, the plan is for next year, complementing the Kwannza Krawl. Tompkins Center will be a family activity that will start at 6 o'clock. The Kwannza Krawl this year started at 7 o'clock because we were looking at engaging that, having that element too. So it's going to be even better next year with regards to Kwannza in the city of Savannah, in Chatham County. Because again, the Kwannza celebration at Tompkins Center is for everyone in the county, and Alderwoman Kesha Gibson Carter created the Kwannza Krawl to support Black-owned businesses here in the city of Savannah. And so some things, like I said, again, I don't want to necessarily get into, but to engage in conversation about that. And it was a great event. People love what transpired, love what went on. And so we saw it even expand this year to other people and other places in the location. And so we are here again, but we're here in the lab right now. Special Run Tell That, Candidly Kesha, all in the house. Just like we did a show that had the rabble that was done live with regards to, it was a special rabble, special Candidly Kesha, special Watchdogs, special Run Tell That. We did a joint venture, and that was when we were at Liquid Cafe, and we had everyone right there in the house. So I'm just enthusiastic about what's going to happen in 2023. And this part of the Kwannza season will begin in December 2023, because we already showed people what can happen the other times. Because like each year it has expanded and taken on a new life of its own, and has some wonderful features with regards to the Savannah showstoppers, because they came with the Kwannza Krawl dance, and it was electrifying. People were enthusiastic. Some of y'all saw it, on Facebook. Y'all saw on Instagram. People were like enthusiastic about it. And so we are excited to see what's going to happen next year, what's going to come out the minds of people, as to say, to take it to another level. So Kwanzaa, for some of you, Kwanzaa, some people, which was a question posed to me by one of our speakers, because some people have said to them that Kwanzaa is a celebration for, is a religious celebration in the face of Christmas. We're like, no, that is not the case. I just realized something. Oh, my Black Excellence plaque, I have moved some books around that. It is not straight. So I apologize for for that. See, I'm gonna straighten it up, but then I had to go ahead and do that. At least straighten up just a little bit, but I see still, yeah, I gotta go back and do it. Is again from the Bluffton MLK Observance Committee. Got the award for Black Excellence with regards to social justice. But again, Kwanzaa, some people tend to think Kwanzaa is a replacement of Christmas, and that you can't celebrate Christmas and celebrate Kwanzaa. Absolutely incorrect. Or you can't celebrate Hanukkah and not celebrate Kwanzaa. Absolutely incorrect. Kwanzaa is a cultural celebration that, again, that is embodied by some principles that are done 7 days out the week. 7 days out the week, we recognize those principles each day, and those principles are important to each one of us in our daily lives, and that's throughout the entire year. Because one, the first principle is umoja, umoja, which means unity. Should we not have unity? Is that not a wonderful thing to have unity? So does that go against anyone's religious beliefs? Unity, does that go against your religious belief? I would dare say no, it does not. Then also the second principle, which is one of my favorite principles, and that is Kuji Chagalia. Kuji Chagalia, that principle means self-determination. Is there anything wrong with you being self-defined, that you being determined about achieving a goal? Is there anything wrong? Is that something sacrilegious about that? I would dare say no. And so the third principle is something called Ujima. Ujima, which is collective work and responsibility. So you mean to say if we come together and build and work together and beautify our community and beautify our lives, like, is that something wrong? Is that blasphemous? I dare say no. And the next principle is something called cooperative economics. That is spending monies in our community, spending monies with one another. That is having dollars roll over in our community, developing and building wealth in our communities. Tell me, do you think God would hate that if we were to do that? I dare say no. And then the next principle goes to something that people call Nia, Nia. And people say that means purpose, but people have been around me with regard to Kwanzaa. I'm going to say divine purposes, divine purposes. And so tell me, if I'm going to say it's divine purposes and that you have purpose in your life, tell me, is you trying, would somebody going to say that's ungodly? I dare say no. Then the next principle is one called Koumba, Koumba, and the translation for that for most people is that it is called creativity, creativity. People been around me, I go and say that actually that is what I call genius, because creativity is actually genius. Everything that you see today, that you see something that's brand new, or you talk about inventions, inventions were created out of creativity. So now tell me, if God sends that to you, the Most High sends that to you, or the higher power sends that to you, tell me, do you think that's offensive to the sight of God, that man and woman become ingenious to do something and make it better for the world? I dare say no. And then the last principle of the Kwanzaa celebration is the principle that is called Imani. Imani is faith. I intentionally froze like that because I dare say for a fact, you shouldn't have a problem with this. If you are a spiritual person, if you are a religious person, that's if you are truly religious, if you truly believe in the Most High, in a higher power. You can't go against this, but some people try to dissuade you with regard to celebrating Kwanzaa, and some of y'all get afraid, and then some people say, I don't know what to do. When you come to a Kwanzaa celebration, just chill and just be right there. Just get into the mix. That's all you got to do. You ain't got to dress up a certain way. Just come as you are, because that's what it's about. It's about us coming together as a family. And we had a wonderful time with regards to that. We came together as a family, and we went to various restaurants here in the city of Savannah. And what we have emphasized to folks, yeah, you celebrate them during the Kwanzaa season, but then we say celebrate them throughout the year. The first night that we did, we went to the Creole Kitchen, which is on Victory Drive. And so it has some wonderful food right there, some great food right there at Creole Kitchen. Next night, we went to our sister and our brother. We went to The Washingtons, we went to Moraleo. We saw Brother Curtis. We went there to Two Chefs Gullah Geechee restaurant on MLK Junior Boulevard. Then the third night, we went and saw our sister, Jackie Semeso, at Liquid Cafe right there. Had some great food right there in Wings. And then my boy Ak was in the house doing the cooking. My boy Ak, who I've known for a long time, he gonna say I'm like his mentor, but you know, that's my brother right there. So he's at Liquid Cafe. Then the fourth night, that's when we made our move on over. We made our move on over and we were hanging out. We was hanging out at a place called Cool Vibes. We were hanging out at Cool Vibes. And some of y'all say, oh, Jamal like Cool Vibes because he like the veggie pizza. You know, he like the mushroom pizza. But I'm gonna let you know, Cool Vibes got some slamming salads too. Let y'all know that jerk chicken salad or just any salad, even you ain't gotta have no meat. We was hanging out at Cool Vibes right there with JB and Sister Wendy, brother JB, Sister Wendy, right there. We were chilling with them and enjoying ourselves right there. Had a great time with them, and we were in the house. And so then we made a journey on. We tracked on over. We stayed. We went down the street. We went down to Abercorn Street. Went down to Abercorn Street, and then that's when we went on to a place we call I was had to check and see. Thought maybe one of the guests coming in. And so then we made that move on over. We went down Abercorn to Fairmont and we went and had a wonderful time at Odyssey 2.0. Odyssey 2.0, Dr. Lillian Loretz Williams and Brother Art Williams right there and had a great time. We saw several people there. And so it was a rocking time right there. And we got the shrimp rolls right there at Odyssey 2.0. And we continue on down Abercorn Street. Then that's when we went on over. We went and chill. And I should say, Cool Vibes right there on Montgomery Street. And then so we went on to 520 Tavern. At 520 Tavern, had a great time. And oh my God, it was like so many HBJ warriors up in in 520 Tavern. It was amazing. It was heaven all right there. It was like it was Herschel B. Jenkins right there in that place right there called 520 Tavern. A great time with Gary Gordon right there. And people had the food, but you know, they had shut the kitchen down because you know that was New Year's Eve. They had shut the kitchen down early. So everybody else had food. People had the seafood pizza. They had all that right there. They had the chicken, all that. But by the time we had finished, I just went to go get me something, put my order in. They laughed and said, Jamal, we didn't close the kitchen. Oh my God. I was going to sneak and get me some of the dirty chicken nachos. Excellent dirty chicken nachos at 520 Tavern. And also wings too, and seafood pizza. But didn't get that, but that's all right. And so we then wind up at Unforgettable Bakery and Deli right there on Eisenhower. Sister Belinda Baptiste, our sister, IET, and also Shoot Your More was happening early that day. And so we were right there. And then she had some wonderful curry chicken and roasted vegetables right there. We was in the house chilling and enjoying all of that. And then we did the culminating event on yesterday because see, in Savannah, as I shared with you, we do a culminating event. And we did that as Miss Polly's Cake Giants. And so her son had went training, had been fixed up, you know, had chicken and had shrimp so that you could put your order in, bam, you got that. So, whoo, yeah. As I tell folks, and I tell our great councilwoman, I say that, check this out, when you're doing Kwannza, everybody else can enjoy Kwannza and they can chill and all that. But it's never a vacation for any of us. Any of us who've been doing, like I said, we've been doing this over 30 years now. And for those of us doing the public Kwannza program, you know for a fact, you don't be like other people. You just can't chill on your laurels right there. You got to be out there working. So now when that new year comes in, guess what? You back to the grindstone. You back to working. But you know that you provide a service to your community. And that's what happened. Now, Alderwoman Kesha Gibson Carter had the vision for this. And so that's what she decided to do, to be a service to the community, in particular to Black businesses that got hit hard during the COVID pandemic in the early stages of it, and seeing that our businesses were closing and then going forward with regards to saying, doing something to electrify the people. So as I shared with y'all, I gave you some restaurants, share with y'all restaurants, their locations from Victory Drive, that is Creole Kitchen again, and they got great food there. I made sure I got the Creole Kitchen before everybody else got there. So, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to get any food by the time everybody else got there. And that's exactly what happened. So I had to punch and I had all that. And so don't tell Coach Carter that, but I had all that right there, Victory Drive. And then we went on, like I said, we went on to West Broad Street, MLK Junior Boulevard, as it's called today. Then we went on down to Montgomery Street. Then we went on down to Abercorn. Then we went to Eisenhower. So we were right there. And during the day, we also celebrated at Kim's Cafe on MLK Junior Boulevard. So again, we went there, got some shrimp balls and some other delights. And then also we had in the house, we also had Hungry Vegan in the house also. So we say to everyone, support those businesses throughout the year, and Cake Giant, support them throughout the year. And some people say that's what happened. They started coming to the Kwannza Krawl and they started supporting the business throughout the entire year. Reverend Valerie Grimes said that, and also my cousin Carolyn Walker. They're all now saying, hey, listen, we're going to have a concerted effort to support these businesses throughout the entire year. And that's also what my sister Candace Briggs had been doing the first time when we did it. And that was she like, so she's not in the ATL area right now. But then that's why here go people picking it up and running with it. And so it is essential that we support one another. That's why I said you can't tell me that you're a spiritual person or you're a cultural, you're a conscious person and you don't want to be down, support all of us, you don't want emoji. You can't be down. You truly can't. You cannot say you're about it if you go against something that's about having all of us come together as one, as a family. And so what we have seen with the Kwannza Krawl, what happened, that you see people coming supporting one another, because several nights, Gary Gordon, owner of 520 Tavern, was at the other restaurants. JB and Wendy were at the other restaurants. Sister Morley and Brother Curtis, that's Taylor and Curtis, were at the other restaurant. They made the round. They went around. And so then they made the round and created this family. So I'm going to let y'all know, I had shared Alderwoman Kesha Gibson Carter. She has created a train right now. It's a train that has been created. She has created a train here in this community, and she has now created a group of people who have now become family. And guess what? I'm gonna say this to y'all, and I'm gonna let y'all know, because people have heard it when we did the live, but now I want people to hear it right here on Run Tell That, Candidate Kesha. I want y'all to hear on the special show we're doing. Hello, Savannah. Hello, Savannah. Hello, Savannah. And that came from Herschel V. Jenkins High School, and our Alderwoman, she has not taken that. She's ran with that. Our great Alderwoman, oh my God, I didn't realize she was on here. Oh my God. There go our Alderwoman, everybody. Kesha Gibson Carter.
Hello, Savannah. Hello, Dr. Toure.
Hello, Alderwoman.
Hello, our Black media. Hello, Run Tell That.
And Candidate Kesha also, because this is a special show. Candidate Kesha also, yes.
Yes. We want to thank you all for extending time on your platform for us. I am now with Alderwoman Alicia Miller Blakely as she is en route to her show For Us By Us. And so I want to say again, as we are in the midst of promoting our culture, the fight and the struggle that we have been in on city council as we took office has been for our marginalized minority and working class people, both Black and white. And if it were not for these platforms, if it were not for the platforms of our Black media, ATR, All Things Relevant, Unity Political Action Committee, For Us, By Us, Better Savannah, and Candidly Kesha, and so many other social media shows, if it were not for these platforms, there would only be one narrative. And that would be the narrative that has been pervasive in our community for decades, whereby you have elected officials serving in office, saying one thing to the people, but in fact doing something other than what they say they're going to do. And right now we're living in a time, a day, and a space where no longer can politicians just spew rhetoric, because Dr. Toure, what we're seeing now is that the rhetoric is not keeping pace with what's actually happening in our city. We're in such a crisis that it's very apparent what the city is facing when we have rising homicide, rising crime of all areas, misdemeanors as well as felonies. We have rising poverty, rising homelessness. We have never seen as much street homelessness in our city as we have as late. Increased taxes, increased forced displacement. And so tying this all in, we decided in 2020 that we wanted to continue to encourage our residents, but we also wanted to educate them and inspire them. And the Kwannza Krawl was a way in which we did that by bringing people together, helping them recognize from whence we came. And as you always say, that's very important, primarily because if we do not know our history will become mythology. And it is so easy. I look at my thumbprint on social media, and I see easily the media affiliates and those who are the power that be have essentially erased all of the good works, right? And they have replaced it with so much negativity. And that's what I see happening with our cultural.
Hello?
Hear me?
Yeah, it kind of zoned out. But also, what we're going to do, we're going to take a commercial break,
Sure that
and
we
then we'll
are.
come back. We're going to come back to you. You might be in a better zone, but we're going to do a commercial break right now. Stay tuned. Check out the commercial. We're going to come back to our Shiro, one-eye Shiro, Alderwoman Kesha Gibson Carter, who's riding with our other Shiro, Alicia Miller Blakely. I guess Councilwoman disappeared. Oh, okay. She's back. She's back. All right. Councilwoman Kesha Gibson Carter. Go ahead, Councilwoman, and let you finish up. Continue on.
I was just simply saying that's why it's important for us to promote our culture whenever and wherever possible, whether it's a holiday, a birthday, an annual event, whatever it is. We have to embrace it, we have to promote it, and we have to share it. I attended a worship service for St. Patrick's Day about 2 years ago, where Bishop Boland in his comments stated, while there are parts of, certain cultures and heritage that is shameful and hurtful, he encouraged people to find the good in their heritage, find the good in it, and share it. And there is so much good about our culture. There's so much good about our heritage, and it should be shared. It shouldn't be something that we put a cup over our candle. So we use the Kwannza Krawl as a backdrop simply to do two things. Promote cooperative economics, whereby we were seeking to generate increased revenue for struggling businesses, those businesses that were teetering on closing during COVID, because they were not recipients of the federal subsidies that went out. Of the millions of dollars of CARES Act funds released to Savannah, $1.2 million was set aside to be shared with businesses via a grant, not a loan, but a grant.
Yes.
To help keep them afloat. So about 50 businesses receive up to $50,000. In short order, we were called, myself, Alderwoman Blakely, and Lanier were receiving calls from individuals stating that they were told that the portal was closed with the opening, or that they were not able to submit their application for whatever reason, or they were rejected and denied. And so we posed the question, and once we received the response and it was not satisfactory, we asked for a list of recipients. And when we received that list, we saw that over 90% of the businesses were in the downtown, midtown corridors.
Yes,
95%.
ma'am.
95% were in the downtown, midtown corridors of all of the businesses in Savannah. And only one business listed was African American and one was Jamaican. That was unsatisfactory. And so we raised concern, posed an issue, and more of an issue, because the funds were essentially used to retire the debt
Yes.
of pre-existing loans that the SBA had on their books.
Yes, ma'am.
Very, very shameful. And so we wanted Kwannza Krawl, as we were approaching the holiday. We researched and learned of a crawl that takes place in New York City. It's more of a drinking bar type crawl. And I thought, we have enough opportunities here in Savannah. We don't want to be a part of that, put a spin on that. And that's why we use the instead of the C for the crawl. In restaurants, local restaurants. Well, in speaking with you, Dr. Toure, we were hard pressed to find more than 5 restaurants. It was really hard to, at the top of our head, name 7 restaurants to represent each of the principals so that we could put on the program. And then we further learned that of the over 600 businesses in our community, over 600, particularly bar and liquor serving establishments, less than 15 of them are owned by African Americans. And so that, again, was not satisfactory. And so we wanted to amidst all of this, we also were experiencing increased homicide among African American men and boys. They were dying on the streets of Savannah at an alarming rate upon our entry into office, and not much was being done about it. And so that's how we arrived at Kwannza Krawl. And it's just taken off and morphed into something much more than what we anticipated. We are now at Tybee. We helped to launch Tybee Kwannza Krawl, and we helped to launch the Pula Kwannza Krawl, and we had a local business to call us, and they wanted a little bit of the Kwannza Krawl. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yes, it's a train. And in fact, Alderwoman Kesha Gibson Carter, is Alderwoman Alicia Miller Blakely still? Are y'all still together?
Yes, and she's trying to talk to me to tell you.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, that's right.
I gotta get ready for the other show.
Oh, but your show called 7 o'clock. Hold up, but there's a question that somebody sent in. Somebody said a question in. They said, how could Alderwoman Alicia Miller Blakely win the raffle when she wasn't there? They want to know that. That was a question that was asked by somebody. She won.
To be there.
So,
look here, that's why you put your name and your telephone number on the ticket, so you didn't have to be there. And I was there every night except for 2. Now, and where were they? Were they there every night?
And then the other person asked, they
you?
said, hi.
Yes.
You?
Yes. Yes.
Stop it, I say.
They also asked, they said, how could Bernard Brown win when he wasn't there? America After Dark, he wasn't there. Then they say, how could Dr. Tanya Howard Hall be one of the how could Dr. Tanya Howard Hall be one of the first winners of it? Then they asked, how could y'all eat up all the oatmeal cookies from Jamal? That's the question that my mama had asked. My mama asked all those questions. Wasn't me, my mama.
Oh, my Lord. Okay.
Dr. Toure, did you receive the pictures I sent to you today?
No, no. I tell you resend it to me. I didn't.
Call me.
I've been looking. I don't see it.
Should I post it here? Do you want to check to see if you have it before I post it here? I just want to make sure you have them.
I'm saying I am looking. I'm looking. Please send it to me. Text it to me so I'll make a decision on whether you need to post it. You know.
Well,
See, this is what happened with Kwannza Krawl, y'all. I'm let y'all know this is what happened.
well,
It
it's been a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun, and it's really good to take a step back and have these light moments and just really enjoy each other's company. And
I think is a connection with our Alderwoman's phone. All right. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am. What else you were saying? Oh.
is it going out?
Oh, okay. So
Is it still going out?
we hear you right now. You can come back on. We got you on audio right now, but yeah, so it's we can hear you clear. You can come back in before Julius Hall, Mr. Producer, he gonna say something, All right.
I know he'll get me because he'll say you should have been in place, but
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
I
ma'am.
can't be all places at all time. But we're happy to be here with you nonetheless.
And so, and you came with something ingenious. I had mentioned to the people briefly, but you came with something also. You were inspired to create a Kwannza Krawl dance.
Yes, yes. So the event, after the first year, I could feel the excitement about it, and people were becoming very festive, and coming adorned in African attire. And there were just certain elements of the event that sparked excitement. And I thought, how much more can we build upon this if we just had a signature dance? And of course, the Savannah Showstoppers first came to mind. And I met Mr. Lamont at an event, and I asked him if he would consider creating a dance for us. And he, in short order, choreographed this piece. I asked him to keep it very simple. And he did. And we had a lot of fun with it. So, in addition to closing with Harambe, where we pulled together, we closed with the Kwannza Krawl line dance, which is Happy Kwanzaa. The song is entitled Happy Kwanzaa by Teddy Pendergrass.
And this is another person sent this in. This was my sister. She asked, and why did Alderman Kesha Gibson Carter make them replay the song over and over so that way she can learn to dance? Why did she keep them? They did it like 5 times in a row, so then that way, that was the question that she had asked. My sister asked that. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
I know it wasn't your sister. And as soon as we hang up, I will be posting those pictures. But Dr. Toure, it doesn't matter to me. I'm a very transparent person. It took me 5 nights to learn to dance, and that's all right.
And once she learned it, she was like, "It's gonna go again. It's gonna go again."
I wanted to do it all night for sure.
But one of the wonderful things I would tell anybody was that you saw how even from the first year to the second year to the third year, seeing familiar faces that were supporting one another, restaurants supporting one another, people. It was like the Kwannza Krawl family is in place, and began to other children now started coming in to the other families started coming to the Kwannza Krawl family, and so that you really going to see absolute umoja you see all the principles of Kwanzaa right there, and seeing people go around in the circuit. And again, all the joy and the laughter people are having, coming from Connecticut, coming from Florida, who are just coming here and enjoying themselves. And that this is something that has truly been remarkable, that again, that this impact is being done by one person having a vision and making it happen. Imagine if we have more of us doing that. Imagine if more of us do something like that. So I wanted to share this with you, that that's absolute kudos for you, because that was something you had a thought like that. And imagine if more of us were doing something like that, feeling the same way that you felt. And that now when I stand in, I'm like looking at people, they're smiling. It's like people, I'm gonna be at the Kwannza Krawl. And so I'm like, yeah, they look forward to this.
Right. And, you know, Dr. Toure, that's a part of that net weaving we talked about, right? We talk a lot about networking when folks attend events and activities, or uh, go into parties or any type of scheduled activities. And they talk a lot about, you know, going to these events to network. But we ask people to come to Kwanzaa with a mindset to net weave. Because when you net weave, you find that it's a lot more intentional, it's a lot more deliberate. And when you're networking, you're actually looking for something from somebody. But when you are encountering a person or engaging with an individual, when it comes to what we're trying to build with Kwannza Krawl, and that's pride and community, we look to net weave. And when we net weave, you're binding together so that we both are taking away something. But in taking away something together, we're also giving back to our community. So we had so many ideas birthed from the Kwannza Krawl this year, so many new ideas. Creativity was birthed. Kuumba was real and in full effect during this Kwannza Krawl. Some of those opportunities you will be hearing about. I don't know if you've talked about the Kwannza Krawl Continues effort,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
the other young lady who acknowledged that her church, they have catered events once a month, and she made a commitment to utilize one of our restaurants on the crawl for their catering opportunities. So again, that net weaving, that intentionality. And then of course we had Pastor Valerie Grimes commit to keeping the crawl going, with Kwannza Krawl Continues, by at least once a month, having all of us sort of get together at a restaurant. So we're excited about that as well.
Yes, and now I told him, I said, Carolyn Walker, my cousin Carolyn Walker, that's why, again, she was like saying having that element, and Reverend Valerie Grimes having that element. And so, again, it was just great. And then to have Jamal to come step up to the plate to do the sound system, and he was doing the great sound. And then having his daughter Layla, right, sing one of her original pieces that she wrote, and having Amira, the dancing princess. So, kind of, what were some of your thoughts when you saw the youth involved? Oh, excuse me. I don't know if you had heard this yesterday. Layla came up to me and she said to me, and Layla is Ross Jamal's daughter. For those of you checking out the shows, that what happened, Layla came up to me and she goes to Garrison School of Performing Arts. They get on me about them. I say arts magnet, but it's School of Performing Arts. And she said to me yesterday, she said, so Kwanzaa's over with? It's over with. I said, for right now. She said, oh, I was about to cry because I thought it was ending. She's like, because that was it. She was so moved. Here go this middle school student who is
Yes,
now saying, hey, listen, I want to do this over and over and over and over.
yes,
So yes,
yes.
I'm like, what's your thoughts with regards to that? So yeah.
It was very touching, and I had the same experience with her as well. I actually have her recorded saying that. So it was so cute.
Okay, yes,
It was
yes,
so
yes,
cute.
yes,
I said,
yes,
"Well, we have next year." She said, "I have to wait a whole year." I really enjoy being here night after night, and to have a young person talk to
yes,
us and tell us, how she felt about it and how much it meant to her. It
yes,
it, it was certainly heartwarming. But to answer your question, I was really inspired and encouraged with the number of young people we had this year. I was really happy and excited to work with Mr. Jaquan Oliver from Dear Young People.
yes.
He was great to work with, and to have him come out, I think Minister Oliver, came out almost every night,
Yes.
as well as some other young people. So that will be the generation that take this over and to keep it going. But more importantly, they will be the generation that will help grow business here in Savannah, as well as encourage them to take this to another level, or create something that will rival this, or will be better than this, or would accent this somehow. You spoke of many times during Kwannza Krawl. You stated that what we are doing is not about ego, but it's about we go. And I added to that by saying yes, and it will come a time to let go. And that's for me, as the organizer and creator of the Kwannza Krawl here in Savannah. There are so many events and activities that take place in this city right now today that I started, that I implemented in the city, that I don't touch and that my name is not attached to anymore. And I'm reminded of a sermon. I think it was Pastor Kenny Grant. I visited their church many years ago at Calvary Baptist Church. He may have been at another church before Calvary. I think it was a church he was at on the east side. And I just remember this sermon he preached. And in that sermon, he talked about how the work should precede the worker, and how whatever it is you start, create, or make, it should not die or go away when you die or go away.
Right.
The work should precede the worker. So we are hopeful that Kwannza Krawl will precede me. We are hopeful that all over the city, with organizations and businesses, they will start to embrace the principles of Kwannza, so that we can promote a healthy Savannah, a better Savannah. When we look at a lot of what we do in Savannah, it's a lot of jockeying for position, or if this person is doing it, this person doesn't want to do it, or it's too much. Pat Gunn recently said in one of her talks that there are enough stars in the sky for all of us. So if you can imagine having Kwannza Krawl or Kwannza embraced and highlighted in households across this city, how much more pride in who we are as a people we would be. And I submit to you, Dr. Toure, that quite possibly may be why we have so much self-hate within our race, when we have so much black on black crime. It's because we have moved away from teaching our children the value of who we are as a people. Because really and truly, if young men and boys had the opportunity to slow down and listen to an account by you, one of your historical perspectives, or read the history, or watch a movie like Emancipation or Emmett Till or Independent, all of those culturally enriched movies, and to see the struggle, and to see what our people went through, and to see how much farther we have to go, and to in 2022 still be facing situations where in real life you have somebody calling a sitting older person who is a professional educated citizen a black ghetto bitch. we still have a long way to go. And that's why we need to crawl, y'all. That's why we need to crawl, y'all. And so those of us who are sanitized in the sanctity of our false security, our brick homes, our 6-figure income, our pension plan, or our executive jobs, you got your your house in a gated community, a plush luxury car, and this is too black for you, or you don't need. No. Yes, we have to. We must. And so for those of us who are attached to the Krawl, who uphold the principles, it's incumbent upon us to share it. To share it and to express it to others who are not there yet, or who think they are far removed from this. But we have too far to go. We have way too much going on in this city among our people, that we cannot fall asleep on the watch. We cannot fall asleep on the watch.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We got another card that came in. This card is from Coach Sam Carter. He asked a question. He said, "How could Myquan Green, who came to the Kwannza Crawl and at the raffle, give a $250 photograph package and it not be given to Jamal?" That's what Coach Sam Carter just asked that question because Myquan came, one of the young people came, and he was so moved by it, he went and gave a $250 photograph photography package. And I was standing right on the side. He went to Jenkins and did not go to Jamal. That's what Coach Sam Carter said. Coach Sam Carter said it right here, right here. Card came in.
Wow. Wow.
Coach Sam
You
Carter.
are so, I find it just incredible how convincing you are with these imaginary people. And now you've made my husband one of your imaginary friends. Okay. So there's help for that. There's help for that. We are grateful to Mr. Myquan Green of Green Productions. If I'm saying his business name wrong, he's going to get me. But Myquan Green, thank you for mentioning him. He came to a number of nights of Kwanzaa. He also supported Kwannza Krawl last year as well. And so he is a business partner with some of the local restaurants. So he's doing a lot. We know that he does a lot with our local schools as well. Jaquan Oliver, so many others they
Faith
are the young,
Apia. Mm-hmm.
yes, they are the young people who I am encouraged by when I see their engagement and their activity, because they are the future leaders of Savannah. They are the future leaders. They are the future elected leaders of our city. And I don't want to do this work, or I should say I shouldn't do this work too terribly long, because, and that's why I believe that when people come into office, you shouldn't die in office. 2 terms max is the most. Anybody who's been in office 10, 15, 20 years, I think it's ridiculous, because you start to lose sight of your changing environment around you. And so we need to make sure that we are encouraging and inspiring and preparing our young people to take office as well, so that we are getting out of the way and let them come up and represent the environment that's a part of who they are and what they are. So that's how the future of Savannah will continue to grow.
Okay. And as you had the vision to also make sure that not only did you have vendors there who were supporting the Kwanzaa Crawl and the restaurants supported, but then also that the support from the vendors and the restaurants will also go to a charity. And the charity you had this year was Save Our Youth Savannah. And why was that? Why you look at that?
Well, it's all about reaching out and sharing what we do for our community. We recognize in Savannah that our nonprofit community undergird a lot of the hurt and the deficiencies that our citizens face in this city. And we want to be a part of supporting that effort. There are many nonprofit organizations who, for whatever reason, do not compete for funds with the city of Savannah through our community block grants and through our community services grants. So we wanted to open a door for them to be a part of receiving resources outside of their normal fundraisers. And Save Our Youth Savannah is one of those groups we identify who is actually doing the work. The evidence of what they do and how they do it is very apparent, from the back to school drives to the programs where she is feeding seniors, feeding families, and anybody who has a need that calls Miss Latasha Barnes. There isn't a time where she has not been able to help meet that need. And so there is so much going on and so much hurt in our city. And we were just excited to be able to support her in this capacity. Now, we are still growing. The crawl is very young. And so in previous years, we had a charity for each night. but there wasn't a whole lot to give to that charity. So we thought until we get a little bit larger and garner more and more resources, we just pick one charity and make it worthwhile and make sure that that charity is one that does not receive funding from the city of Savannah on a regular basis. So that's how Save Our Youth Savannah was selected. And I think we are up to about $300-$400 that we will be giving them toward whatever her next effort is.
All right, great. And then some of the vendors, we had Patrice Jackson, who again one of the younger people, the young adults in the community. Patrice was there vending pretty much every night. You had Alex Baptiste right there. In addition, you had Askia
Minding my
Jackson.
Black-owned business.
Askia Jackson, who's from Fort Valley State University. She was right there also.
The
Sister
Fort Valley
Amunga,
State.
the Fort Valley State University. Sister Amunga, who coached volleyball at Savannah State, she was also with her items. And then you had someone who had Shea Butter.
Yes. And that I can't remember her name from last night, but this Shea Butter, I will definitely put this in the chat because I have used Shea Butter almost my whole life, but this Shea Butter, oh my gosh. I have never had Shea Butter like this before. She definitely has a new client.
So you definitely got to let folks know about it. Because you were saying that yesterday.
Yes.
So so definitely everybody know. So folks will get a hold
Did we get a chance, Dr. Toure, to talk about our Kwannza kickoff, the press conference we had at Vintage?
I forgot about that. Glad you brought that up. I forgot about that.
Yes, so we had our launch, our kickoff on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Listen, now, if anybody is wondering what's wrong with me, that's what's wrong with me. we have been going at this since Christmas Day. We had our Kwannza kickoff, and several of our restaurant owners showed up at Vintage Special Event Center, owned by Miss Rashida Elwers, another young person, another future leader of this city. We're so excited about her future. We're excited about her business, and we're excited to have her facility serve as a backdrop, one of the few African-American owned event centers in Savannah. And so we were privileged to be there with her. And that's where we sort of announced the opening of Kwannza Krawl and introduced the third annual Crawl to Savannah.
Yes. This is the last one. This card came in. This is from Dr. Kenneth Jordan from Savannah State University. Dr. Kenneth Jordan said, Alderman Kesha Gibson Carter, he is so proud of you and what you have done. But he also asked the question, when did you graduate from Jenkins? What year did you graduate from Jenkins? That's just Dr. Kenneth Jordan, one of your mentees, your mentors. He asked the question, Dr. Kenneth Jordan asked, when did you graduate from Jenkins? But he's proud of you.
Yes, I adore Dr. Kenneth Jordan, and I know that this must be another one of your imaginary friends that you're naming tonight. But you're right about that. But what I want to say to you, Dr. Toure, before I thank the elected officials that came out each night, because that was deliberate and intentional as well. And I don't know if you had a chance to mention it at the top of the show, but we were graced with a number of elected servants here in the city of Savannah and county of Chatham who came out to greet our guests and serve as hosts. And Mr. Aaron A. Whiteley was one. The DA, Shalina Cook Jones, Representative Derek Mallow. We had Miss Trish Brown from the elections board, and forgive me, I should have said Senator-elect Derek Mallow. And who else?
Tanya Howard Hall.
Dr. Tanya Howard Hall, Dr. Tanya Howard Hall from the school board. And so that again was a part of that intentionality and deliverance, Dr. Toure, where we wanted this to be an opportunity where we bridge the divide between our citizens and their elected servants. outside of Kwannza Krawl, they would not have had the opportunity to connect with them. And so whether it was a question about street lights or speed bumps or something with their child in the school district, whatever it may have been. And we also gave the elected servants, some of them took the opportunity to talk about their work. And so that's really important. And that's what it's really about. You talked a lot about at the culmination event at Miss Polly's, and we were happy to have Cake Giant as a backdrop and her son to provide the catering for the guests there.
Yeah.
But it's really important for our citizens to take their rightful place in local government and recognize their responsibility when it comes to holding us accountable. That accountability piece. You know, this is the week where we talk a lot about Black. February will be the month where we talk a lot about Black. And we will go on and on and on throughout the months and get to June. We'll be doing Juneteenth, a lot about Black. October is, somebody text me something about what we'll be doing in October for African American history, so forth and so on. March, I left that out. We'll be doing the Weeping Time commemoration. But Dr. Toure, one thing I want to get across, if nothing else, no longer is it enough to just be Black and be in office.
Yes, that's right.
No longer is it just enough to be Black and be in office. One, we want to recognize that your alliance
Thank you. Your connection, Alderwoman. You're frozen. Alderman Kesha Gibson Carter is frozen for a second. But then just to let y'all know, some of the other people who also elected officials who attended also, it was Alderwoman Bernetta Bryant Lanier, Alderwoman Alicia Miller Blakely. In addition, County Commissioner Tanya Milton came out a couple of the nights. In addition, what happened, Commissioner Bobby Lockett also came out a couple of nights also. They came out to about 3 to 4 of the Kwannza events. So they were right there also. And we want to shower them with information shower you all with information that they came out, because we were happy to have them right there. And so it is now, as you all know, it's 57 minutes. You all know how they are. You know how Mr. Producer is. Mr. Producer, Julius Hall, his people know to cut me off. That's what they do with us around Tell That. But again, the cards wanted to know, how could Bernard Brown win a gift to win the raffle when he wasn't there? Bernard Brown. Alicia Miller Blakely. Dr. Tanya Howard Hall. She won one of the first gifts. Then I don't get the $250 photography package from Mike Juan Green. I don't get that. Coach Sam Carter asked that question. But that's all part of the Kwannza Krawl. We do it for you all. It's for the people, for the community. Alderwoman Kesha Gibson Carter had the brainchild for this, and we just helped to manifest it. And so we're so honored to be a part of it. And again, we look forward to the next Kwanzaa season coming up on December 26, 2023. We'll see y'all. It's going to be an exciting year, 2023. An exciting year. Lots going to be happening. Things are going to be mind-blowing. We're just getting started. Run, tell that. Candidly, Kesha. Kwannza Krawl. Peace and blessings. We out of here.